Officially last Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are live streaming.
So waiting on Nancy.
Yes,
Okay.
but I
It
will
says
mute
she
us.
finished it.
There she
is.
goes.
All right.
Righty, Mayor, you do have a quorum.
Hey, okay, the meeting is called to order. Can you do a roll call, please?
Mayor Angeline Butler,
Present.
Eric Stallings,
Present.
Joanne J. Evans,
Present.
Jacqueline Faith, Nancy Howard,
Present.
Trey Holland, Dobble Shaw. A quorum has been established, Mayor.
Hey, so I don't have the I don't have the agenda in front of me. So can you guys just
Need to add the
go through?
the
Yes.
adoption of the agenda, and then we need to add, Mayor, for item 4, a discussion of the tax incentive request for Gillum Buildings 600 and 650.
Yeah, I could barely hear that. So I know I heard something about minutes or adopting the agenda.
Yes. So we do need
Okay.
to adopt the agenda with the addition of item number 4, which will
Okay.
be discussion of the tax incentive request for Gillum Building 600 and 650.
Okay, so is there a motion to adopt today's agenda with the stated addition?
Motion.
That was Jay Evans, second by
Nancy.
Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The approval of minutes, review and approval of the September 24th, 2025 meeting minutes.
You said that was the minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. All right, is there a motion to approve the minutes unless anyone seen any changes?
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
That was Eric for the second time, Ms. Evans. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, did that pass? I'm sorry, you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. What's next? Old business?
There is no old business.
Okay, so
Our
new business?
new business first is the September 2025 financial report.
Give me 2 seconds.
Right, wait, oh, just one
Give me,
second.
so I can share the agenda. Give me 1 second. Director Wiggins, you can proceed.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Start off in the financial package. I've included. I'm start off with the cover sheet first. The cover sheet stays with the operating cash, operating revenue, and operating expense. Operating cash beginning budget with 3 bank accounts. It's $2,646,646. You had deposits of $3,302,751. You had withdrawals of $360,904. Your ending balance is $5,588,492. The operating revenue, which was budgeted at $3,639,477. year-to-date, as of September 2025, you have brought in $3,278,368. Your budget balance is $361,109. Operating expense budgeted at $3,639,477. Year-to-date, you've spent $59,829. You have an encumbrance of $19,518. Your budget balance is $3,560,130. In your package, I've included the bank statements.
I'm sorry, is this something that's should be shared on the screen? I just see the meeting agenda. Or was this in the packet?
It was-
Correct. I don't see it in the packet either. I only see the agenda and the minutes.
It wasn't included in the packet as I got it after, but I can send an email to everyone with the information. Or give me a second. Did you grab?
I'm sorry, is he done with the report?
No, we were trying
No.
to send the report to you because it wasn't shared in the packet. You should have,
Did you ever do those police reports,
Yes, ma'am.
Wiggins?
Yes, ma'am. My case number is 25 dash.
Well, I don't need the case numbers. I was just wanting to make sure that it was done.
It was done.
All right, just sent it over to everyone.
you should have the financial packet in your email to follow along as with Director Wiggins.
In the financial package, I've included the 3 bank statements that backs up the operating cash on the cover sheet. I've also included the statement of account for the Georgia Fund 1. Your beginning balance there is $2,121,114. The earnings was $7,455. And the new balance is $2,128,570. In that particular, also in the package, I've also included the revenue and expense report from our system Encode that backs up the operating revenue and the operating expense, and that's the financial report. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Next is the economic development update.
Okay.
All right, so a couple of things.
Hold up, let me share the PowerPoint.
All right.
What'd you say?
I said,
Trying
give
to
me,
switch
share the PowerPoint.
I thought I heard Jesus speaking. I heard.
No.
Wow, Mayor Butler,
Exactly.
this is in a recorded line.
Yeah.
To behave.
You're on the recorded
Spicy,
line.
spicy. So, thank you, welcome. I'm gonna go pretty quickly. We've got a lot, as always, going on in the Office of Economic Development. But before I go any further, I want to make to you an official announcement that as of October 13th, that was last Monday, as of October 13th, Ms. Sharice Clay has been promoted to the Main Street Manager of the City of Forest Park. I am super excited to have her officially in this role. We are currently in the process right now of hiring and going through a ridiculous number of resumes for the staff assistant position with our department, and prayerfully very soon before the end of the year, we can go back to being a fully staffed department. Couple of quick updates. Pottoberfest is this Saturday. At the fountain. Unfortunately, the dog park will not be ready, so it will be back at the fountain this year. If you've got fur babies or know people that have fur babies, come out at 11 a.m. on Saturday at the fountain. There will be the pet Halloween costume contest and parade around the fountain, as well as arts and crafts, et cetera, et cetera. The light pole banners, I'm just gonna stop talking about it, but they are coming. The requisition is done. We will hopefully have a timeline soon. We are delaying a little bit with Public Works, so instead, we did not want them to go up for the fall and then come right back down, so we're gonna wait and have them go up for the winter. Banners, as a reminder, we are doing 4 seasonal banners that will rotate throughout the year. Next slide. If you
Wait,
have-
before you move on, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I took my babies to the vet yesterday and I didn't see any flyers for this.
Ooh,
So are we sending them to vets? There's
Yeah.
PetSmart in Mara, like any
we did not send.
pet friendly place?
We did send to, our partners with this are the Happy Paws and Tails, or Happy Tails and Paws, or something like that foundation. We partnered with them last year as well. They've been helping us with the promotion and the outreach on it. We did send, and I realized that I forgot to take some over to Joanne over in Mara, but we did send some over to the other, I'm pointing, y'all can't see me point,
Yeah.
the other one.
Yeah.
Um,
Dr. Green.
So, but based on our Eventbrite registration, we have a link, as well as Happy Paws and Tails has also been pushing. I'm expecting a bigger crowd than what we had last year.
Well, can we get it? There's 2 veterinarian
Yeah,
offices
we-
on
Jonesboro.
Jonesboro Road.
Yep.
And then
We
take
can
it
do
over to
that.
PetSmart, like any place that we can.
We
And then if
definitely do that.
Dr. Green Solomon is at Watts.
if you email me the flyer, I can email. My babies are going to daycare tomorrow.
Okay.
I could take it to their daycare. But yeah, every pet place needs to get this.
Got it. We
Yeah.
can make that happen. Any other questions about Saturday? No? Next slide. So finally, at long last, our Main Street sign is official and done and up. Thank you to our Public Works team. They got, I think, honestly just tired of me harassing them about it. So the sign is now officially up and it looks fantastic. We had an absolutely fabulous 2nd annual Blues on Main event. Thank you to all of our sponsors and partners for making it happen. This year we secured our first major sponsor, which was the Clayton County Office of Tourism. With the county, that was our lead sponsor. We also had 2 other sponsors, Denmark, Ashby, and Matricardi, as well as Technique Concrete. And then we also had about 20 table sponsors. We're in the final phase of, I think we have now paid out everybody that needs to be paid. We're doing the final reconciliation. So we'll be able to have for you before, but most definitely at our next meeting, a full tally of exactly what was spent, what was raised, and what, kind of our full financial accounting. But we have gotten nothing but absolutely positive and tremendous feedback and praise and kudos. It put Forest Park on the map in a very different way, and being able to extend our reach beyond Forest Park and also even just beyond Clayton County. Next slide. We also just wrapped up, they're still out there on Main Street, so please go visit and drive by if you haven't already. We hosted our very first Scarecrow Showdown competition. Judging was last week. We had 6, 7, something like that, 7 or 8 participants this year. The Public Works was our grand prize winner. The Office of Economic Development did not place, but our picture is there so you can see the level of creativity that went into our plan, and we were rocked. Couple of other quick updates for you, and the City Hall staff came in 2nd place. Couple of other quick updates. We held a groundbreaking this morning for the Scannell properties out at Gillum They
Ooh.
purchased purchased 22 acres from Blue Star Studios on the Moreland side. The official groundbreaking was this morning. Their team has been nothing but extraordinary to work with, and they're moving through the process fairly quickly. We will need to, at some point, they'll probably bring this back on the November agenda, but they have approached about a tax abatement or a tax incentive. So we will need to revisit that in the November timeframe. We also, myself and 4 members of the DDA will be flying to DC tomorrow for a day trip to do a day tour of the Digital Realty data center in Northern Virginia. So we'll be leaving here early tomorrow morning and we'll be back late tomorrow evening. And so the board wanted the opportunity, as y'all are considering their tax incentive, to see in real time what exactly they are building and the type of data center that they are building here in our community. They do have a center at 55 Marietta. However, the infrastructure or the way that it does cooling and the setup on it is slightly different than what they are proposing here. The closest is Northern Virginia, so we will be going to that tomorrow. And then a couple of, I think really the only other thing, there's, like I said, there's lots and lots and lots going on, but I have officially joined the Aerotropolis board. Actually had my first board meeting this afternoon. So I am your official Forest Park representative for all things Aerotropolis. So please know that we will continue to push and keep Forest Park front and center. And then finally, I've also the Forest Park representative for the Clayton County Housing Task Force that has been formed. The ARC has provided some funding to Clayton County to do a housing assessment study, hence why we now have a Clayton County Housing Task Force. And this is beautifully ties in, and the grand drum roll. So Forest Park has been selected on our very first attempt that we are officially a WIC program. Yes. So we have been accepted into the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing, but keep it here because I'm really not supposed to tell anybody until they do their grand reveal in Savannah later in November. We are super excited and what that means for our community to be able to address housing in a very different way. It will go a long way in helping us do a housing inventory, true housing assessment, and a real housing strategic plan. We had a follow-up call with them yesterday, and one of the things that they said that really tipped us over the top and kind of above and beyond everybody else was not just our need, but also the level of innovation of what we have done already with what we have. So they appreciate that we have skin in the game and have worked very, very hard. They absolutely loved our Leaf Life initiative and our house over there on East Street. So kudos to the DDA for supporting that and making that happen. And I think that is all I have unless there are questions for me.
No.
No? All right, hearing none. Item 4, which is the discussion of the tax incentive request for Gildem Building 600 and 650. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we have Frances here. She's a representative from Robinson and Weeks. There she is. And so I asked her to come to just talk a little bit about the buildings and just do an overview of what they're asking for. We've already shared the numbers. You have them in front of you or you have them via email. And then this would give an opportunity, ask any questions, have them answered, and then we would come back to vote the next meeting in November. So with that being said, Frances, do you want to?
Thanks. Yeah, sure. So I'm Frances Jackson. For those who I haven't met, I am with Robinson Weeks Partners. I'm the Vice President of Asset Management. I am intimately involved in Gillum, handle a lot of Gillum projects. And I've been with Robinson Weeks for about 5 years. So I've been around for a little while and have seen a lot of the development firsthand.
You're the president of the.
I am the president of the Gillum Logistics Owners Association. So if
Very
there are
good,
any questions
yeah.
there, happy to answer. But essentially, Robinson Weeks, we were the master developer for Gillum. If you haven't been to Gillum, you should definitely try to make it down there. It is a master plan industrial park, very successful BRAC program where we've converted the old Fort Gillum into a very successful industrial park with economic drivers for the city of Forest Park. And one of those big economic drivers is bringing very large world-class tenants to the park. So we've brought Amazon, HD Supply, GXO, Boeing, really notable names, Kroger. And what is a big driver of that is the tax incentive program. That is a very big marketing tool for us that we use to convince companies to come to the city of Forest Park as opposed to elsewhere. And the millage rate with Forest Park and Clayton County can be a little bit on the higher end in comparison to a lot of other local municipalities. And so that tax incentive really does make a big difference to a big company who's looking for where they should place their home and their jobs and their investment. And so that's why we are looking for a tax incentive, particularly on our larger building. We have two right now. One is 570,000 square feet. The other is 170,000 square feet. And it really helps us from a marketing perspective when we can say, hey, come here because we have in a tax incentive that we are able to offer to you. And right now we just don't have that. And so when we're out competing against other buildings, particularly that are not in Forest Park, but maybe close towards the airport and other locations, or City of Atlanta, other infill industrial buildings, this is one leg up that we can have when we have those tax incentives in hand. So that's why we're coming to you guys for that.
All right, thank you, Francis. Ed, are you available to speak?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And we've had the pleasure of working with Ed for many, many, many years.
So you should have an Excel spreadsheet either in front of you or in your email. Are we able to share that, Sharice? Or Ed, do you have it?
Let's see. Yeah, I can share my screen. Hang on a minute and I'll pull it up.
Okay.
Right.
You see my screen?
Mhm.
So the first building is called Gillum 651 that I'm talking about. It's 106,000 square feet, right at $75 a foot. David filled this out for me this morning. He has about 20 jobs, wage levels of $17.50 an hour. The value for tax purposes is $12 million. He actually sent me the tax bills as well, so I could see that. The 40% value is $4.8 million. You can see the three governments whose taxes we can abate: Clayton County Schools, and the city of Forest Park. Oh, why in the world Forest Park's listed to zero? What's our millage rate, John?
16.743.
For some reason or another,
What you have?
some reason,
Might have had it at zero because I don't think the city has issued their bills yet. The Clayton County bills come first with the tax roll, and they set the value, and then the city bills come thereafter.
Gotcha.
for some reason, Welch took it out. Somebody at his shop did.
It's in the other one.
Yeah.
And so 16.743. And so if we all do the 10-year tax abatement, I'm on column J here, starting at 50%, declining by 5% a year. And so the tenant savings would be 684,000. And so the way Weeks Robinson have done it, when we give them a tax abatement, they give the benefit of that to that tenant, like Francis was saying. so they can incentivize them to come to Forest Park, Gillum Logistics Center. The difference here, Francis, is that we have a thing now where the county gets to decide whether they want to participate in the tax abatement or not by contract.
Right.
And the DDA has asked a developer to go to the school board and ask them theirs as well. We are obligated to ask the county and acquiesce to whatever their wishes are. We're not required to do that about the schools, and so you, the DDA board, need to decide whether you want to take this project and ask the schools about it as well, if you decide to give it a tax abatement. And then the authority fee over here, I've calculated it at 12 million at 1/8 of 1% is a total of 81,654. Mayor Butler, you and I have talked about increasing that fee to a quarter, and it'd be 165,000. Welch, in his sending it back to me, I did this spreadsheet. I sent it to him yesterday to get him to update it with the values. He wants to pick that $81,000 1/8 of 1% fee because the savings are so low. He wouldn't be left with much in the way of savings, and so that's the tax abatement on this project. Let's look at the second one.
Wait, I'm sorry, Ed, go back to, you said David said what about the 1/8 of 1%?
He wants to pick over here. He wants to pick the 1/8 of 1% fee and not the 1/4.
Oh,
You
of
see-
course, because that will save money.
Yeah, no question. And so,
Oh, yeah,
the-
well,
but-
okay, that's not.
well, so I'm on your side. I ain't on his side. But in his defense, his savings are only 684,000, and so it reaches a point where if we charge him the 1/4 instead of the 1/8, it'll reduce his savings by what, another $80,000. So his savings would be 400 instead of 482. So I guess it's still saving, but it's up to you what you want to do. That's why he picked it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Ed,
Yes,
I know
sir.
that we're going to go to the next property, and maybe we can do that, but at some point, I'd like to see Fort Gillum on a holistic scale. Like I'd like to see all the tax abatements that we've given out, and then what properties are there still left for Robinson Weeks to market, so that we could see, hey, we've given out all these tax abatements already, and we still have this percentage or this number of total available total properties in Fort Gillum or Gillum Logistics Center to still fill with tenants. Do you see what I mean?
I do. So these are their last two, isn't that right, Francis?
Yes, there may be one more. We have a parcel right behind these buildings that's still kind of in the works, but right now, these are the last two. We don't have any additional land beyond that.
Yeah. When you say in the works, are you saying that that's still barren land for you to develop and build upon, or it's already built?
Yes. It's still vacant land for us to build upon. It's a very small parcel. And so it would either be a very small building or with kind of limited parking and things like that. Or we've contemplated maybe it being some sort of IOS lot, which is kind of the industrial storage facility. But that's still very much in the works because it's such a small parcel. We're trying to figure out what the highest and best use would be.
Got you. So last two properties out of how many properties were you given to manage total in Gillum Logistics?
Just considering Robinson Weeks, because there's several others, like you have Kroger, you have Technique Concrete, you have Blue Star. Those are not a part of our purview. We assisted as the master developer on many of them, but those are not part of our portfolio, I guess.
Sure.
How many did you do though, Francis? Do you know? 10 or 15?
Less than 10. I can tell you in a couple minutes because we have.
So while she's looking that up, boss, above all of this was 135 acres. We sold the TPA group. They sold a piece of it to Digital Realty, the data center. I think there's 50 some odd acres that are vacant land that's left that they're trying to market to somebody. Nobody in particular that I know of, but there's 50 some odd acres still available that's vacant.
And the URA owns about 45 acres that are left.
Mhm.
And that's where the police training facility is on. And a lot of that is just connecting the parcels. It's
Correct.
not.
And then Blue Star sold 12 acres that they had bought for their expansion that they're not going to do. And some company starts with a S. Rochelle bought it.
Mhm, they had their groundbreaking this morning.
And they asked us for a tax abatement. Did we ever
They did.
They
did,
did.
did we turn it down, or are we still considering it?
We're still considering, we haven't
And then and then
to
and
the.
then I think Blue Star wants to sell their campus, don't they? Aren't they wanting to?
Yeah, so they are actively trying to sell, I know the administration headquarters building and all of the other historic buildings out there. They've got them all listed. I don't know what their plans are for the headquarters building that they built. But they are actively trying to sell.
And then boss, we have Weary Housing. The contract is up, that lease, and so
Yes.
those are all the properties I think that are still available that
Correct.
somebody may come to you and want something with those.
Absolutely. So Wary House is owned by the URA, or the official name is the Park at Fort Gillum, formerly Wary Housing. So it is owned by the URA. The property management lease ended, or ends on 27th, so next week. The new property management contract was signed October 1st, went into effect October 1st, but they will officially take over, kind of boots on the ground, on November 1st.
Got it.
And so we're working through that whole untangling lots of.
And a couple of years ago, the mayor took it upon herself to try to figure out a way to make that a higher and better use and help the residents. And man, she just got hammered. And so, I think the wishes of the URA is to keep it as apartments and not try to sell. That property is 34 acres and it could be worth as much as $150,000 an acre, but
Yep.
but I don't think they're going to try to do anything other than try to fix up those apartments.
Yeah, so right now, once we do the official transition with the property management company, we are looking, or probably do a bid, because we need someone to come in and do a full assessment of the physical conditions of all of the buildings, but also the infrastructure. And really come up with, and from there start to come up with a full assessment and a plan of what is it gonna cost. Interestingly enough, and I shared this with Danielle, about a month ago, that our buddy Tyler Wakefield called me just kind of randomly and out of the blue, fishing around about Wary Housing, and was potentially maybe interested in doing something. So we'll see.
All right, thank you. So we can say pretty safely, of all the Gillum Logistics Center acreage that we've given, whether it's Robinson Weeks or whoever, there's tax abatements on all of it.
No, sir.
Just
So
about.
I'd say 80% maybe. So some of them did
That's the
not get
number I'm
tax
looking
abatement.
for.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm looking for. So 80% of the properties out there is abated, with just a few more that Robinson Weeks has left, and this park at Fort Gillum.
Correct. So like Blue
Okay.
Star didn't get a tax abatement. That Scannell or whatever it's called didn't. The concrete company hadn't gotten one.
Waken.
Yeah, Waken did not.
Waken didn't get one.
Gotcha. All right. That's helpful. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can go ahead.
And then the second property that Weeks Robinson has before us this afternoon, another building. This is building 600, and both of these are already built. By the way, they're hunting tenants, right, Francis?
That's correct.
So this one is 570,000 square feet. It's a total of 39 million. So it's more than the other one. The other one was, I think, was 160,000 square feet. So this is 39 million nine. The 40% assessed value is 15 million nine. You can see the three governments tax abatement, millage rate levy that are there. And so the savings on our schedule, the 50% the first year, declining 5% a year. Tenant saving is 2,274,000. You can see how much it is per year. Then we go over here to the authority fee at 1/8 to 1% over 10 years. It'd be 274,000. At the 1/4, it'd be 548. And so you can see the net savings at the 1/8, which is what David Welch picked, is $1,820,000. And then one last thing, he says that the jobs are 50 jobs and the wage level is $17.50 an hour. Madam
Wait,
Chair,
if
I'm
they're
sorry.
hunting and my apology if I just don't understand. If they're still hunting tenants, how can they give us a wage level? Is that just projected for a likely tenant?
So we had a memorandum of understanding with them several years ago that we wouldn't give them a tax abatement unless they brought certain levels of wage levels, certain numbers of jobs. And so he knows that he won't, it'll be in the clawbacks when Danielle draws up the paperwork in exchange for this tax abatement. He has to deliver stuff like this. And so he knows that that's just what we expect.
Yeah. So we do, I personally do the annual reports and we'll submit those annual reports. And if the tenant doesn't come with the amount of jobs at the stated wage rate, there is a clawback where we do not get the full tax abatement. So it's really incentivizing the tenant to make sure they hit those job numbers and they make sure they hit that wage rate and they'll get the full tax abatement. If not, they will not.
So we only had one that didn't meet it, Ocado, and for about 2 or 3 years in a row, they had to pay us back some of the tax abatement because they didn't achieve their goals. But last year they achieved it.
How long ago was that? It doesn't have to be exact, just approximate. 1,
So
2, 3, 4 years ago.
no, so last year they achieved it. The 3 years prior to that they did not. And don't hold me
Okay.
to it. Could have been 2 years, but I think
Yeah.
it was 2 or 3. But it was this year. So this year they achieved it. In 24 they did not. In 23 they did not. In 22 they did not.
Okay. Question. For these wage levels, when the abatement was first, for those individuals and for all similarly situated abatements in the future that will have this clawback feature,
So
is
they
the wage level promise, is it adjusted annually at least for cost of living, or is it just a set 1750 in this case?
So you get to do it any way you want to do it, and each one of them were different. Like Ocado, they had higher wage level jobs. It was it was less jobs because they were using robots. You know what
Yeah.
Ocado does is pack up the produce and send it out, and they have higher level jobs to run all those robots. And so each transaction had different goals for the clawbacks. And so you get to make it whatever you want. You just don't want to make it so high that they can't achieve it.
Right, and we can include that. The prior ones were just a flat wage rate. But we can increase it by like CPI annually, if that's something that the board wants.
Yeah.
And
Is that
I
something we would do here or something we do more, we like hash out in an executive session?
No, I mean, we can talk about that. Or we can break out into groups of non-quorum as well. But it is within a lease agreement, so technically, yes, we could talk about it in executive session.
Like what I remember on Ocado was 60 jobs, and it was like $60,000 a year salaries is what I remember. And they missed their jobs goal. They didn't miss the salary goal, but they missed the job goal.
I'm very
I have a
interested in that.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to the jobs, I see that both are saying a specific number. For instance, the 650 stating 20 jobs. That's 20 jobs out of how many we're talking about?
That would be the total number of jobs for that 160,000 square foot building. And the other one is 50 jobs total out of the 570,000 square foot building.
Okay, so the next question would be, are those 50 and 20 local residents? Because that's my biggest thing, that other entities come in the city and the county, and it's always hiring from outside. So that's my biggest thing, that we need to be focused on these jobs being for a resident.
So what we have done in the past is require them to have job fairs and goals to try and hire local. And so we've never given them a specific number that they had to achieve, but they do have to make an effort to have job fairs to hire local people.
But I thought that was a legal issue. We could not tell them how many local people to hire.
Yeah, that's what we encourage, and because if there isn't, let's say it's an engineer and there's highly specialized and maybe there isn't one within the area.
Right.
But if they do the local job fairs, then you're gonna get more results, when it comes to having local applicants apply. And so
Yeah,
that's,
and that hasn't changed at all.
right.
And some of the jobs will require, different licenses, like you have to have a forklift, driver's license, whatever they call that, the CDL for the truck drivers. So there are certain qualifications in the warehousing, typical jobs that we see, that would be somewhat difficult to box in, but definitely encourage. And as a president of the association, whenever we get information from the Forest Park team here, we disseminate it to all of the companies so that they can participate in all of the job fairs and different initiatives.
And kind of working in reverse as well, that Francis does a great job in keeping us in the loop with all of the HR contacts for all of the employers out at Gillum. So anytime we have openings or the job fair that we did several months back, we do a very hard push to Gillum as well. So it's really a push-pull in both directions.
That 1750 number we saw there, is that in the lease agreement? And if so, that just seems really, really low to me. Especially, and here's where I'm going with it, is that we all know the macroeconomic pressures that are happening in our country right now. And so I would want to include those in consideration in the clawback agreement. At the very least, I was talking about cost of living, but CPI, Attorney Machicardi, you said CPI every year. That's at the very least. We at least need to do that every year to increase that wage amount. And I'm not sure that we have the right wage amount there at 1750. That's very low. But we also need to consider, depending on what happens politically, the cost of insurance that's getting ready to skyrocket as well. Because remember, the goal is like, yeah, it would be great to have these jobs, but people are looking for full-time employment that's going to help them actually live. And so we'd want to reflect that, if at all, I know it's possible because it's just numbers and math, right? We want to reflect that for our citizens.
Correct. I completely agree with that.
Well,
Make it a livable wage.
One thing that is a requirement for the number of jobs, it is the number of jobs at full-time employment. So they can't count part-time employees as a part of that number, just an FYI. But, the wage rate can definitely be considered. But I will say that what I would just maybe ask of the team is to consider kind of what the standard wage rate is for the industry. And what is potentially achievable, just kind of given the market in that particular warehousing industry.
So
yeah, great. And so that's
then?
where, very good. So that begs another question is, hey, that number's out there. And so if Weeks Robinson, if you guys are asking for a tax abatement, make it easier for us. Let's get a side by side, come to us with those numbers. Hey, here's what's industry standard. Here's why Gillum is or is not a prime target for tenants. So this is why we're asking for this abatement. So I see the numbers. I just don't see I'm not saying there's not a business case for it. It's just not apparent to me the business case for an abatement right now, when the issues that I've just named around the wages for guaranteed jobs are just so unclear. So just help us see it a little more.
I can do that.
Okay, are there any other questions for Francis or Ed while we have them?
Never me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Mayor?
guys.
Thank you, Francis.
Mayor? I think she's muted.
Yes, she is. Mayor Butler?
Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Do you need me to stay, Mayor? Can I go get a drink?
No, you look, we already on the clock. You staying on the clock.
Yes, ma'am.
It's hard to get good help nowadays.
Yes, ma'am. Can
It's not
Francis
even
go?
close to 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Francis, thank you, Francis.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Have just a very, very quick executive session. Like 5 minutes, maybe.
Perfect, because my computer's gonna die
I'll make it real quick.
and my phone is already dying.
Okay.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me stop live streaming.
Yeah.
And can we call executive session?
Yep. Oh my God.
Is there a motion to go into executive session for personnel, litigation, real estate, or legal matters?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Second.
you.
Who is that?
Eric and Nancy.
All right, perfect.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.